The Youth Village is a nonprofit organization that is committed to supporting young Black entrepreneurs. If you'd like to get involved, donate, or find out more, you can visit us at our website, www.tyvo.org.
Good morning, Dale Pratt, and I'm from Express Employment Professionals. I'm the franchise owner. We're a recruitment company, and what I'm going to talk about today is the importance of networking and collaboration. Now, I'm going to steal a little bit from Khalil, who talked about the African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so as I talk about the tips that I'm going to talk about today, that's the theme that I'd like every one of us to think about. So as we look at networking and collaboration, and I transition to talking a little bit about my journey and how I use that as I come along the way. When I was thinking of getting into business and leaving the corporate world, one of the things that I had to decide on was, as someone who moved to Canada in 2005, did I know the regulatory environment well enough that if I get into business, I'm not going to get myself in trouble with CRA and submitting my HST on time, and all of those regulatory requirements that you have to abide by. And if I didn't know that well enough, then probably I shouldn't try to set up a business on my own. But in order to get the help, I should go to franchise route. So for me, that was the decision. Should I go alone? Should I go to franchise route? And so I decided that I didn't want to get into trouble with CRA or any of the other regulatory organizations. And this really tied into my personality. I don't know how many of you do personality profiles. There's one called DISC. And so DISC, when I did that profile, I came out as, my highest profile was C, which means I'm nerdy. That's what that one means, really. And the other was driven. So CD, that's my personality type. I analyze things, I figure out what my move is going to be, and once I've come to the decision that this is the move to make, I'm like a dog with a bone, because I'm so driven about it, because I've done my homework and I know where I'm going. So the franchise route was the route that I decided to take. Now with Express Employment, getting into that employment business, getting into the employment business was just a transition from what I had done before, which is coming from the financial services industry where I was in wealth management sales. Now, why is collaboration important in this field? When we look at some of the most famous and legendary business people, we look at Bill Gates, for example, and we look at where Microsoft is today. Do you know that one of the things that has made Microsoft what it is today is the collaboration between Microsoft and IBM, where that original deal was not to sell the software program to IBM, but to get into a leasing arrangement, so that every computer that's sold, the Microsoft program will be on it. Now, you've got other computer makers. There was IBM, there was Dell, there was HP. All these computer makers are now installing the Microsoft software on it, and it's just being globally sold. A more current example we see is with Google and Android. Now, Google is developing the Android software, and so for many of you who have Samsung phones or phones made by LG, smartphones, they're using Android software. But Android is owned by Google, and it's leased all these other companies. That is another example of collaboration. Now, how am I going to break that down to my business? So in my business we do recruitment, and we develop relationships with the companies that are looking for talent. So we've been able to break this down into, when we talk about recruitment, there are companies that we collaborate with. Durham College, where we are here now. Durham College has an employment support subsidiary that is located right here in Oshawa. And they have the Employment Ontario program, which allows them to help members of the community in their job search. It helps with resume writing, and it is government funded. So for those of us in the employment industry, they're like a necessary evil. Because it's like they're competing with us, but we have government funding, and we're in the private sector, we have to come up with our own capital to fund our business, pay our staff, and we're competing with the government to find jobs for individuals in the community. But the lesson that I learned here is sometimes you have to collaborate with those who you might feel are your competitors if you're going to go far. Now, what I know that we do very well is we can prospect and do business development far more than the team at the Durham College Employment Center. YMCA also has that program, and they're located in Whitby. We know that we can do business development far more than they can do it. So we have the company relationships, we have the jobs, but we might not have all of the talent to fill the jobs. So how do we collaborate with them? We have relationships with them where we do job fairs, and they help to find candidates for us. Now, what is the win-win? The win-win is, for them, they complete their quarterly reports where it shows that they are finding work for a large number of members within the community, and their government funding gets to continue. For us, we're finding the candidates to fill the jobs, so we put them through our screening so we know that these are candidates of the standard that our clients are looking for, and we also win. So collaborating with those who you might perceive to be your competitors, that is something also to be considered. We also get referrals. Another important tip. When you're in business, you also want to ask for referrals. Those job seekers that come to us, we ask them, who do you know just like you that you think might want to work in this company? That way we get additional candidates. Now the other side of it is on finding clients and networking and collaborating to grow the client network. And for that I would say look at being involved in networking groups. Sam mentioned this earlier. Sam, myself, and Keisha, we were all a part of BNI, which is a business networking group. And the goal of that group is to find business referrals for other members of the group. So you can get into a group such as that. I'm also part of the Whitby Chamber of Commerce. I'm also a member of the Rotary Club of Ajax. These are all organizations that can help with networking and collaboration. But we were in 2023, and in 2023, technology is big. So social media is big. Remember your Google profile. That is going to say a lot about your business. For most of us in the room, I imagine if you travel to Quebec and you want to go out somewhere for dinner, one of the first things you're going to do is Google best restaurants in the area, and then based on what Google tells you, that is going to determine your level of interest in going to the restaurants that show up there. Your business is going to be treated the same way. And I can't tell you the number of times we receive calls in our office, and when we go through our screening, and we ask, how did you hear about us? Oh, I saw you on Google. And so that is where a lot of the flow is coming from. Of course, you've got Facebook, you've got LinkedIn, there's Instagram. Those are all tools that you use to promote your business as well. And another big thing, don't forget your team and your business associates that help you to run your business. I treat my employees like they are my customers. Right? I serve them so that they can serve our customers. If they're not well, I am not well. I have to make sure that they're well, and when they are well, I know that my business is in good hands. And Keisha is my accountant. Keisha is very key to my business. And like she's saying, you want to focus on what your business is. I focus on the employment business. I focus on developing those relationships. I don't want to be bothered by CRA requirements and HST obligations. Keisha ensures that my business is protected in that regard. And you have to build those relationships and have confidence in the people that support you. And then pay them on time. That's also important. You reward them financially for their efforts. And so those are some of the key things in collaboration that I would want to say. But I would say once you do all those things, present yourself as you're doing it as a business professional, not as your race. When I go out and I speak to anyone about employment, I am coming to you as an employment professional. And there are people, I'm not denying it, there are people that will see you as your race when you first start talking to them. But you get into several conversations and you're going to demonstrate your competence, and they will begin to see you as a professional that you're representing yourself to be. And that is the focus that you have to have. And be prepared to operate in different communities. I have co-workers and business associates that are from the Jewish community, that are Asian, that are white, and we are business professionals and colleagues. And once we continue to do all those things, I would say there ain't no stopping us now. McFadden and Whitehead, how many of you know that song? 1979.
Excellent opening remarks from the